Hey guys! Prepare to have your minds blown up with this insane list of movies that will leave you thinking for hours or even days. Forget cliché endings, here only is jaw-dropping plot twists that will make you question everything you know about reality. If you like a good thriller, mystery, or psychological thriller, this video is for you. Before continuing, I ask you to leave your like, subscribe to our channel by activating the bell because this will help us a lot to continue to bring content like this to you, so do not forget to comment and share with friends, okay? Let's go! 7. The Seven Capital Crimes is a thriller film directed by David Fincher. The plot follows young detective David Mills, Brad Pitt, who moves to a suburban town to help investigator William Somerset, Morgan Freeman, solve his last case before retirement. They are pursuing a serial killer who kills victims in the order of the 7 deadly sins. The killer, John Doe, played by Kevin Spacey, is intelligent, meticulous, and extremely sick. Warning: next, spoilers of the end of the film. At the climax of the film, Doe lures Somerset and Mills to a desert location where he displays a box with the head of Mills' wife, Tracy Gwyneth Paltrow, who was also pregnant. This disturbing act leads Mills to shoot Doe, representing the sin of wrath, while Doe represents envy. After the shooting, Mills is taken in a van for justice to be done in accordance with legal administrative measures. This shocking and unforgettable ending is often cited as one of the most impactful in film history. The Sixth Sense is a thriller film directed by M. Night Shyamalan. The story begins with Dr. Malcolm Crowe, Bruce Willis, a child psychologist who is injured by a former patient, Vincent, who considers Dr. Crowe his greatest therapeutic failure. After this incident, Dr. Crowe is dedicated to the case of Cole Sear, Haley Joel Osment, an 8-year-old boy who has difficulties getting along in high school and lives paralyzed with fear. Warning: next, spoilers of the end of the film. The big twist of the film is that Dr. Crowe is actually dead throughout the film. He was killed by Vincent at the beginning of the film and spent all his time not realizing his own death. Cole, who has the ability to see and interact with the dead, is the only one who can actually interact with him. The film ends with Dr. Crowe realizing his true condition after Cole reveals his secret to him. The Usual Suspects is a thriller film directed by Bryan Singer. The plot revolves around 5 criminals who find themselves in a police identification training and decide to carry out a robbery together. The group consists of Dean Keaton, Gabriel Byrne, Michael McManus, Stephen Baldwin, Fred Fenster, Benicio del Toro, Todd Hockney, Kevin Pollak, and Roger "Verbal Kint" Kevin Spacey. Warning: next, spoilers of the end of the film. The story is told primarily from the perspective of Verbal Kint, who is interrogated by Special Agent Dave Cugin, Chaz Palminteri. During the interrogation, Verbal mentions a legendary and almost mythical criminal named Kaiser Soze. At the end of the film, it is revealed that Verbal Kint is actually Kaiser Soze. He manipulated the entire situation and everyone involved to eliminate other criminals who could identify him. After the revelation, Verbal is released from police custody and disappears, leaving Agent Cugin behind, realizing too late the truth. Fight Club is a thriller film directed by David Fincher. The story centers on an unnamed man, played by Edward Norton, who suffers from insomnia and is dissatisfied with his life and career. He meets Tyler Durden, Brad Pitt, a charismatic soap salesman and anarchist, during a business trip. Together, they form the Fight Club, a secret space where men struggle to vent their frustrations. Warning: next, spoilers of the end of the film. The Fight Club grows, gaining members and transforming into a larger movement, Project Mayhem. Its members carry out acts of vandalism and sabotage against corporations. The narrator begins to question Tyler's actions and the morality of the project. While investigating Tyler's origins, the narrator discovers a shocking truth. He and Tyler are the same person. Tyler is a projection of his mind, representing his repressed desire for freedom and self-affirmation. In the end, he and Marla Helena Bonham Carter, a woman he met in support groups, watch together the collapse of several buildings, an act planned by Project Mayhem. The protagonist discovers that Tyler and he are the same person, and his mind created Tyler as an alter ego. With Marla's help, the narrator manages to control Tyler's personality. Shudder Island is a thriller film directed by Martin Scorsese. Set in 1954, it follows detectives Teddy Daniels, Leonardo DiCaprio, and Chuck Mark Ruffalo, who are sent to remote Shudder Island, where Cliffe Psychiatric Hospital is located. Your mission is to investigate the disappearance of a dangerous patient, Rachel Solando. Warning: next, spoilers of the end of the film. During the investigation, Teddy Daniels begins to question his own sanity and the reality around him. He experiences different symptoms ranging from dizziness and headache to continuous vomiting, almost with the same symptoms as when he was on the boat. In the end, we discovered that Teddy Daniels is actually a hospital patient undergoing a different type of treatment. His partner, Chuck, was actually a local psychiatrist watching his progress. All of the symptoms he experienced during the film were due to withdrawal from his medication, chlorpromazine, which had been suspended because of the treatment he was undergoing. The psychological treatment that the character was going through is called psychodrama, which is basically a staging which aims to explore the human psyche and its emotional bonds, aiming at the occurrence of a catharsis in the protagonist of the staging. For your own personal development. In the end, Andrew finally comes out of the illusion he had created and returns to who he was. Decorated and delusional war veteran Andrew Leddies, who had lost his children after his wife drowned them in the pond and lost his own after killing her himself after this tragic incident. The Arrival is a science fiction film directed by Denis Villeneuve. The plot follows Dr. Louise Banks, Amy Adams, a renowned linguist, recruited by the government to establish communication with extraterrestrial beings that have arrived on Earth. The heptapods, the name given to aliens by humans, use a language written with each symbol creating a complex thought and a sentence structure in a second. Warning: next, spoilers of the end of the film. At the end of The Arrival, Louise Banks, Amy Adams, and Ian Donnelly, Jeremy Renner, are amazed as they watch the heptapods disappear into space, leaving behind their weapon, the alien language, for Earth to use when they need help in 3,000 years. At the end of the film, we discover that Louise's visions are not flashbacks, but flash-forwards. She is seeing moments from her future life, including moments with her daughter Hannah. Another surprising revelation is that Hannah is the fruit of her marriage to Ian. The idea that Louise is now able to come and go on the timeline is confirmed when we see her reciting the words of General Shang's dying wife, Sima. The protagonist recites a sentence over the phone as he recounts the same words at a gala party sometime in the future. This new form of temporal perception that Louise acquires also causes the character to make decisions that seem contradictory. The protagonist chooses to have a relationship with Ian and have a daughter, even knowing that Hannah will have a short life due to a terminal illness. The ending of The Coming addresses the question of free will, the power of love and human connection even when we know what is to come. Louise is proof of this when she chooses to embrace the love and joy that her daughter will bring, despite the pain that accompanies the future loss. The Mist is a thriller film directed by Frank Darabont. The plot begins with David Drayton and his 8-year-old son who rush to the market before supplies run out after a violent storm. However, a strange fog fills the city, leaving David and a group of people trapped in the market. Warning: next, spoilers of the end of the film. The survivors discover that the fog hides something supernatural and that leaving the market can be fatal. The origin of the fog is linked to a military experiment called Project Arrowhead. After discovering his wife's death, David and the group continue driving until they run out of gas. In a quick and intense scene, adults quietly agree to end their own lives. David shoots his friends and then his own son. The darkest moment occurs when the fog begins to dissipate and the army appears to defeat the creatures. David, devastated, realizes that the death of his son may have been the key to the end of the nightmare. The most terrifying interpretation is that Mrs. Carmody was right about the need for human sacrifices to calm divine wrath. This disturbing touch redefines the conclusion. What's up? Like that content? So leave your like, subscribe to our channel, and share with friends. Until next time, thank you and goodbye.